Welcome to the Dreamit Dose. Most VC investors see hundreds, if not thousands, of startup decks and pitches each year. I've talked to dozens of investors about the most common mistakes startups make and how to fix them. So here are the top 5 things I wish startup founders knew when reaching out, sending a deck, or pitching a VC like me. Let's dive in. Dreamit Ventures has been investing in great early-stage startups for over a decade. The Dreamit Dose allows us to share best practices to help even more founders. Tell us about your great startup using the links below. The first thing I wish you knew is that you should start by talking about the big and urgent problem you're solving. Why? Because out of the gate, investors like me are in triage mode. Time is valuable, and we're immediately trying to figure out if this could be something super interesting or not. It's like how a doctor triages a patient when they come into the emergency department. No pulse and the body's cold? No need to do anything further. In under a minute, that doctor has assessed that the patient is gone. How does that relate to VCs and startups? The problem you're solving is your pulse. And over 50% of startups fail because they're not solving a big and urgent problem that customers care about deeply. If you can't convince an investor like me that you're solving something big and important for customers, that means your startup probably doesn't have a pulse. Oh, and as a side benefit of starting by defining the problem first, you're putting guardrails in my mind. Investors like me hear so many ideas and pitches daily. Please help us context switch and quickly wrap our minds around the problem that you're solving from the very beginning of our conversation. Next, investors are always trying to figure out if and how you're clever on more than one axis. If you don't know what I mean by that, please go watch the Dreamit Dose on that topic. But the TLDR is, I want to understand what makes your startup uniquely clever and hopefully in more than one way. Maybe you're working in an area ignored and overlooked by many because it's boring. You know what? Boring can be great. I may find out that you're clever because you've come up with a new algorithm, device, or formula that's truly unique and hopefully protected by some form of IP. Maybe I'll also learn that you're clever because you found a way to grow your audience and acquire customers at an order of magnitude lower cost than everyone else. Please keep this in the back of your mind when you meet with investors. What can you talk about that will demonstrate that you're clever and hopefully in more than one way? The third thing I wish you knew is that you should know a ton about your competitive landscape and which of your core differentiators and benefits are truly most important to your target customers. I see so many startups get tripped up when it comes to talking about the competition in detail and why customers will choose their solution. Startups throw up a magic quadrant and get torn apart when they don't really know what benefits are most crucial to their target customers and why and how they're going to win. When it comes to the competition, I want to figure out if you have your head stuck in the sand or you really know the competitive landscape and have a firm grip on your differentiated benefits. That means I better not be able to do a simple Google search and come up with a strong competitor that you're not even aware of. Next up, I really wish you knew how much investors want to see that you have a focused, scalable, and thoughtful go-to-market strategy. I see so many startups that don't really even know what that means. Most startups think I'm asking about their sales strategy, for example, direct, online, B2C, or B2B. I'm not. I want to understand the key attributes of great early customers or markets that you're going after, why those attributes are important to your strategy, and what markets you're going after in priority order. At the end of the day, it's very important for investors to understand how you're going to gain traction quickly and efficiently. Okay, here's the last one. I hate to burst your bubble, but I wish you knew that the cards are completely stacked against you when you talk about your projections. Most investors won't believe your revenue and growth projections as we assume you're guilty of revenue projection crimes. I would say well over half of startup founders present highly inaccurate revenue projections. Of course, they start with the obligatory, by the way, it's important to point out that our revenue projections are highly conservative, when actually they're anything but. How do investors figure this out? We start by asking questions that peel back layers of your assumptions to see what's behind your thinking and forecast. Most of the time, we find the emperor has little to no clothes. We ask detailed questions about your pipeline, sales processes, conversion rates, how long it takes to close sales, and more. Under this level of scrutiny, we usually see most startups do a faceplant. So, do yourself a favor. carefully think through each stage of your sales process and the critical assumptions you're making along the way. And make sure to work with someone who will openly challenge your assumptions and make you defend them in detail. Then redo your bottoms-up sales forecast. That's it. Those are the 5 things VCs wish startup founders knew before taking their next VC meeting. First, start with the big and urgent problem you're solving. We want to make sure your startup has a pulse. Second, tell us how you're being clever, hopefully in more than one way. Third, know who your competition is in detail and how you stack up against them from the customer's perspective. Fourth, make sure to have a go-to-market strategy that's thought through, makes sense, and is scalable. And fifth, you need to have solid revenue projections built bottoms up with pressure-tested assumptions. That's it. That's your Dreamit Dose in about 5 minutes. Please leave your questions in the comments section. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. We have a lot more coming. To see all of our doses, go to dreamit.com/dose. See you next time. In this episode, we're going to be talking about all kinds of things. Take 1. Those are the 5 VC wish. Take 2. Investors are always trying to figure out that means I better not be able to do a simple Google. I write tongue twisters so I can give you good bloopers.